legacy of this world. You see, it's like we are not ready yet. That's the thing that pains me most, and I don't know whether in my life, still in my lifetime, whether I'll still be able to, whether God will give me that privilege to see democracy. I have seen Papa Awolowo, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, eyeball to eyeball like this when I was young. I said, no, this one is different. Eyeball to eyeball, he asked me questions. You see, and how many of our children today are even qualified to look at eyeball to eyeball to the local government chairman? That chairman will be so concerned about what they are passing through, and he asked them questions. And it was because Chief Obafemi Awolowo was so passionate, was so concerned with the future of the next generation, that he asked somebody like me such a question, concerning the future, concerning our future. No, so you see, the set of leaders that we have now, unfortunately, they are just living themselves, doing things for themselves and by themselves, not minding what happens next. And ironically, again, what legacy are they going to leave? Because life is all about leaving a legacy. I think this is what they need to think about.
Governor Adeleke has been reaching out to civil servants in the run-up to the election, and we hear stories of cash transfers into workers' bank accounts, which the government has explained to be palliatives to cushion the impact of hard times across the country. Now, do you think the timing of these palliatives in close proximity with the elections was merely coincidental?
Now, since I don't belong to any party, it is wrong for a governor, especially at this moment, to now say you give out money. The money that you didn't give out, you didn't roll out 4, 5, 6 months back. You're not giving it up now. Well, maybe they see that as a part of their own strategy. But one thing I learned about Adeleke is that it's not owing them, it's not owing civil servants. They are paid arrears, paid pensioners, tomato pensioners.
I don't want you to campaign for him.
Okay. This is not campaigning anyway. Anyway, that's exactly what I see about the way he has operated. But he doesn't actually need to give out that kind of money this moment. That one may influence the direction of the process.
Okay, you may believe that he also has other things that could make him people want to vote for him, just as the other candidates too also have their good points as well. Well, I want to recall the development whereby the accounts of the Osun State government was frozen by the EFCC over allegations of suspicious movement of funds for the purpose of vote buying and other mishandling of public funds. Now, while there was a lot of uproar over this, with the president himself admitting that the timing of the EFCC's action was embarrassing and ordering the unfreezing of the account, the question still remains as to if there is indeed substance to the EFCC's allegations, and in any case, the Osun State government and their court party barely responded to those allegations, but they were talking more about a crippling witch hunt ahead of the polls. Now, don't you think the FCC should have been left to do its job regardless of the timing? Elder Oluyole.
You see, the freezing of account of the Osun State account, everything is political, no doubt about that. If you look at what has been going on, within that space, in the last 2 years, you'll discover that economic war has been happening in Osun State, starting from the local government, the local government funding, release of local government funds or not release of local government funds to the APC government or to the state, to the local government or the state government. Remember, they went to court, and the court, all that transpired, we all know. And that, and since I think 1.5 years now, since February 2025, local government workers have stopped going to work. Okay, so ever since then, okay, there has been economic capturing, and then from there, at the end of the day, by the time the Supreme Court, will give the final verdict and all that stuff, APC members have taken up the 30 local governments, then in Osun State, and the money they pay to them directly, just acting like an autonomous local government, the money they paid directly from the federal went to their accounts, and they spent it the way they wanted. The government, the Osun State government, went to court to challenge such operations. Then the account was the operation of that account was stopped. All right. Meanwhile, those illegal, let me call it illegal now, local government chairmen, they have spent out of that money. Okay, they use part of the money to buy vehicles or police and all the stuff. So economic war is being on the ground, and the reason for all of this is to prepare the ground for Saturday. And so at the end of the day, for Saturday election, and at the end of the day, as the election, the day, drew nearer, at the end of the day, the state's account was frozen. Okay. Now, you could not see the light of the day because the people cried out. The entire nation cried out. So the president had to come in. Even though the way the president came in was, has some, what is it called now? A finger that, if I describe, I wouldn't love to be rude a bit. You see, so when by the time we saw the finger of Mr. President, that okay, you are pushing this, the finger pushed the frozen account in a manner that suggests, that looks illegal, kind of. So he said, okay, let it be. So the frozen account, and the reason that many of them are so fearful now, they are so afraid, and especially those local government chairmen and their supporters, they are afraid because if they are afraid of the money that they spent in the past, because if Accord should win this election, they are going to prosecute them.
You'll have questions
to answer. They have questions to answer as to how did they spend that money, where did that money go, and meanwhile, since the state government uses the First Bank, how did they get to UBA Bank? How did the money from the federal get there? Because these are all the things that went around the circle, and at the end of the day, for the state accounts to be frozen and to render it's kind of economic war.
Okay, talking about
against the people of Osun State.
Okay, talking about the freezing and unfreezing of Osun State accounts. Now, does the situation suggest that the incumbents in Osun State, I mean the governor and his party, are depending on government money for the purpose of funding the election? I think they should have been more worried and concerned about how the freezing of government accounts would affect the smooth running of government, rather than how it would affect their chances at the coming governorship election. They seem to be more concerned about that. So is it that they are planning on using government funds to fund their own chances at the elections?
No. The freezing of the account
is not supposed to affect the elections.
It's not. How will it not affect the election? You see, we have to be how it will. Election is an event. It's a compulsory event that must come to pass. There are combinations of activities.
Osun State government is not funding the election.
Osun State government is not funding the election. It's the party that is funding the election, but the participants are members of their Osun State indigenes.
Are they relying on government funds, on public funds to fund their elections? Their party should make funds available for them.
Parties are expected to make funds available for their members to run election. What I'm saying right now, parties are expected to make funds available. Now, a situation where it now looks political, where the freezing of account now looks political, just like I told you, that thoughts comes with information and emotion. Okay, people are bound to think that okay, this is because of the election that is coming. That's the reason you freeze it. The one who froze it and the one whose account was frozen, both are political.
If you tell me they were trying to discredit Governor Adeleke, smear his white Babariga, and be present him to the people as a man who doesn't have integrity, I might want to agree with you on that. Maybe that is what those that froze the account were trying to do, but I still cannot see the connection with the elections. Because, like I said, the party is supposed to provide funds for its candidates. The candidates themselves are supposed to source funds to fund their own election machinery. So I don't know, maybe, but eventually it would appear. Well, I think some people said it eventually turned out that Governor Adeleke began to garner more sympathy when some people somewhere tried to smear his integrity or something like that. I don't know if that is what happened.
It is part of political threat. Let me tell you, when you are trying to threaten people, it is part of this political threat, intimidation, harassment, because all this freezing of accounts is part of the harassment, is to harass if you ask them what is the goal and what's the aim of those who froze the account, is it not to intimidate? It is very clear. It is in the open there.
The EFCC said they found red flags,
and they should carry out. If they find red flag, nobody will take red flag for them and give them grey or white or red flag
of money.
Everything is systemic in nature. You see, where you keep systems running, okay, when you keep systems running, anything you bring in to obstruct a system or a process and still expecting a product, you might not get it. You won't even get the election at the electoral process, right? If you bring in the freezing of account into the ongoing process. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Is a process. It is a system. It's just like asking me that my entire body is a system. Okay, I want to go from point A to point B, and we are saying that okay, since it's not like my brain depends on my hearing well now, let me use cotton wool and plug it a bit. You say, is it not your eyes that we used to get to Mokola? Are you using your hair? And I'll be using this system. The fund, the account is part of the system that we used to run. That we used to make the system work. If you now use something to obstruct it, say telling him that is it not for you to just get to, is it not for you to get to Akpata or to Mokola? Is it not your eyes that you use? Do you need so much of your mouth, and you block my mouth or block my ear? No, it's not going to work. It's a system. So where there is a systemic failure, okay, where there is because the moment you do that to me, you use cotton wool to block, there's going to be a failure is going to happen. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And we know everything is political. There is no doubt about it. Everything is political and is to achieve a set goal. The aim is to bend the system. And when you bend the system, you are about to end the system. When you are trying to bend it in a manner that suggests destruction, you are going to end it.
What do you make of allegations that the APC-controlled federal government is determined to manipulate and win the Osun poll for its candidates at all costs?
That is trying to win come again.
So what do you make of the allegation that the APC-controlled federal government is determined to manipulate and win the Osun poll for its candidates at all costs? That's the allegation coming from several quarters.
Well, when you look at determination, everybody is determined to achieve something, okay? But where you open the space up now, it now depends on the kind of the method that you are using, okay? To win the election, the method, the objective, your objective, the participants and weapons, because you have to use all this to achieve your aims and objectives. But if you are so desperate and people are looking at you the way you use those methods, your strategies, start to query the manners and the ways by which you go about it. And then there are your participants. I told you it's all about that. Politics is expected to be a game, and you have participants, you have the objectives, you have your aim that you want to go. So the kind of weapons that you use and the kind of weapons that APC is using in Osun State now is threat and money. And money, when you talk of money, we are talking of power, because they hold at the center,
the national treasury.
Everything is concentrated there. So it is unfortunate that democracy has taken this form. But for us to get it right, the people have to be told. I'm talking to Osun State people now, that they should come out en masse.
Okay, on that, the issue of voter apathy. Now,
okay.
I feel personally concerned about one thing, and it is something that is peculiar and persistent to the electoral process across Nigeria. The number of people that register as eligible voters, obtain their PVCs, and do come out to vote on election date. In Osun State on Saturday, just a little over 2.2 million registered eligible voters are expected to decide the next governor out of a much more vast population of citizens that are actually eligible to vote. And it is also not certain that every one of that over 2.2 million will be coming out to vote. Now, this has been the perpetual narrative across Nigeria through the years since our return to stable democracy. So what exactly is the problem? And what are we not doing right to see that the larger majority do really come out to determine the nation's leaders? Using Osun State as a focal point now.
Yeah, and using Osun State, above over 2 million people, are expected to come out, and vote, right? Definitely, we cannot have up to that, coming out. That one is certain, because of the uncertainties and the disease and the unexpected that could happen, and it is even not certain that such a number will come out to vote. But we expect that a significant number of people, will come out to vote. But because of what is playing out now, that is why the people should not feel so much, threatened, and that they push back, from the players who that through that they become so much demoralized to the point where they, at the end of the day, robbed of what belongs to them. Where at the end of the day, they won't be able to express that which has been crying for tears, what they have been shedding tears for. That is, thinking that in the nearest future, prosperity and security is certain, because the reason for government and governance is security and the welfare. I mean the security and prosperity of the people. So the people of Osun State, like I said, is that I expect them I'm saying that let them come out en masse and cast their votes, for their preferred candidates. We have soldiers now, soldiers, policemen, security men. They have that have arrived in their numbers, in their thousands already now, and as they have arrived, they have not come to kill. They have come to protect the people. They have come to ensure that peace reigns. So there is no need for them to be afraid. There is no need for the people to be afraid. To be afraid of the soldiers and the policemen.
Some also say that they are afraid of the soldiers and the policemen, that the sight of them is intimidating, and you now begin to wonder, who should a voter be afraid of? Is it the soldiers and the police that are there to protect, or the political thugs that could also be out there on the streets?
If they are afraid, they should understand this. If they are afraid, it is because they have allowed that threat, to get hold of them. If they are afraid, it's because they are losing courage. But I trust. One thing is this: I trust Osun people. I trust them. By Saturday, you hear the news, because Osun State is different from other states. Let's be very, very, very sure. Go to the Toiwo, go to Osogbo, try and ask questions in Ife and Ilesha. I'm telling you, I spoke to them today. I asked questions, and the brief and the preparations. I'm talking of the people, not the. I'm telling you the people themselves. The community people.
And they are ready.
Yes, the key. I'm talking of key stakeholders that are community-based people. So they are ready to come out, even though there are threats here and there. Like we say, their conscience must remain intact, because where there is no conscience, they will come. That I told them. I know they will come to them with their bags of rice, money, and not the stuff. But they should not let that one lose, and again make them lose their conscience. Conscience without God is a court without justice, without a judge.
Okay, Elder, now that you have spoken about the ordinary masses and their ability and power to change things and steer things in the direction where they all think things should go, I want to take you up on this, talking about the power of the ordinary masses when it comes to election time. Now,